For years, I kept telling myself that I'll go see my grandfather, show him how much I care, sit at his feet and soak in his wisdom. I kept telling myself that later I'll get money and go spoil him. That later I'll go create memories with him. I kept convincing myself that there was another day, another chance, another tomorrow. One day, the phone rang. The news came. My grandfather was dead. Just like that. Gone was the opportunity for me to hug him, for me to say goodbye, for me to show him how much I cared for him. The fact that I had allowed later to rob me such an opportunity to take that priceless moment from me, it was prayer. God came through for me. Later, the coffee gets cold, right? Later, people lose interest. Later, the day turns to night, right? Later, children grow up. Later, people grow old. Later, life passes by. Later, you live your life not pursuing the things that set your soul on fire. Hey guys, welcome back to another classic episode of Becoming Better at Humanity. If you're new here, my name is Judith and I use my life lessons to train people to get into their greatness. Whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever it is that you're engaged in, I am back to remind you that you have greatness in you. Yes, you have the ability to do more than you can even begin to imagine. So I want to welcome you to listen, learn, and let us grow together. So I want to start by asking you this question. Have you, at some point in your life, have you ever told yourself, I'll do something later? For example, I will start that business later. Later, I'll go back to school. Next year, I will go finish that master's. Later, I will start that dream business. Later, I will pursue God's call on my life. Later, I will pray. Have you ever told yourself something like that? Or later, I will show up for the people that I love. Let me tell you what life has taught me. Later is the most dangerous word we live by. The other day, I attended a forum whereby this discussion arose. And then one woman's testimony broke the room apart. Yes, by the time she began speaking, the room was silent. But by the time she was done, let me tell you guys, 3/4 of us in that conference hall was sobbing uncontrollably. She's someone who is definitely going to watch this episode because at the end of the day, we became friends. But I want to share this because I want this to help someone. So I'm sharing this with your permission. She said she had an only child, a boy who was everything to her. The husband had died when the boy was so little, and instead of the in-laws coming through for her, they took everything away from her. They even sent her away from the homestead. That happens in African homes in so many times, so this is not something new. We all have heard stories like that. So standing at the edge of life with no one to hold on to, before the husband died, the husband was the sole breadwinner. Now that she had nothing, she did not have a job. She was a stay-at-home mom. And ladies, let me advise you one thing. Have your own money. It saves you a lot of embarrassment. Just have your own money. Go to school, do something. Start a business, get capital. If there's someone who can support you, do something with your life. Because the husband died. So this lady had to take care of the children. But she had an only son. So standing at the edge of life with no one to come through for them, she started hawking clothes. Some days sell vegetables by the roadside. Doing casual jobs just here and there to put food on the table for her son. And even get school fees for the son. But no matter how hard she worked, it was never enough. Poverty has stripped her down piece by piece. By the way, Moms are special. When I tell you that she told us she tried, I believe her. She tried. Her son's school uniform told the story of their struggle. She was saying that she bought the son went to school for 3 years consecutively with one shirt. The shirt that was once white had turned pale brown from years of wear. Pale brown. Guys, you can imagine that. And then the sweater was stretched at the elbows, patched and repatched until the fabric would take no more. Shoes, if you could call them that, were worn out, soles thin, laces broken. She said that every day she could send her son to school with a whispered prayer. Lord have mercy. Lord protect him. School was no refuge. At school, children can be brutally honest and cruel sometimes. Children who are that age of 8-9 years, they want to belong, they want to be liked. They know nothing about the haves and the have-nots. So, at school, the children notice the differences. They're wearing white shirts and the boy is wearing brown shirt. Definitely, they had to notice that difference. So they laughed at his shoes, especially when he walked, the shoes flapped when he walked. So they laughed. They thought it was funny. They mocked at his sweater, at his pants, which had holes. They whispered behind his back. Poor boy. And you know how, by the way, children can be brutally honest, cruel. And slowly, classroom turned to be a battlefield where he learned pain instead of multiplication tables and numbers. Where he was supposed to learn sciences and languages, it became a battlefield where he learned pain. Broken by it all, he came to his mother one evening and told his mom, "Mother, if you could only buy me new sneakers, maybe they'd stop laughing at me. Maybe I'd belong." And tears coming out of his little eyes. A mother's heart was shattered. For any mom watching this video, you can imagine the intensity of those words. And then those words coming from the mouth of a small boy. That meant the boy was so heartbroken. So heartbroken, guys. The mother wanted to shield him, but she had so little. Still, she promised that she could get him shoes. She told him, baby, I'm going to buy you shoes. I promise. I am going to buy you shoes, and I'm not going to buy you ordinary shoes. I am going to buy you the best. Moms are special, let me tell you guys. Moms are special. So, what did the mother do? She started sacrificing. Skipping meals. She started working extra harder. Walking instead of taking transport. Oh my God. She spending sleepless nights thinking of ways to put a smile on the son's face. Her love pushed her to sacrifice, and she decided that she was going to order these shoes from abroad because she wanted the best for the son. Imagining the smile on his face when he could restore his dignity back, his confidence back. But life is cruel in its timing. As the mother sacrificed, saving up so that she could buy these shoes, the son continued to be bullied. The children continued mocking him, laughing at him. And with every insult, a part of him withered. Because every day the children mocked him, it reminded him of how he didn't belong in that class. Every day he carried the shame, the isolation. Of course, children couldn't want to associate with a poor boy. The sense of being unwanted. And with every insult, a part of him withered. By the time the shoes arrived, the mother was handing these shoes to the boy with trembling hands, tears of relief in his eyes, thinking that this is the best thing that she had ever done for this boy. My goodness. Oh my God. Guess what happened? The boy wore these shoes once. Just once. By the time the shoes came, the damage had already been done. The thing that could have restored his dignity, his confidence, had lost its meaning a long time ago because it came too late. Let me tell you guys, by the time she finished saying that, I'm telling you, 3/4 of people who were seated in that conference hall were sobbing uncontrollably. Not just because of the story this lady was sharing, but because we saw ourselves in it. That is what we do. We keep postponing life for later, little joys for later. And what was the most important lesson out of that story? Sometimes our loved ones don't need new. They don't need luxury. Sometimes what our loved ones need is something small, something new, something that reminds them, you are loved. I can't see you, and you matter. Just that. Sometimes what we need in this life is just showing up for the people that we love, living, loving and sharing when the time is right. Bullying is real, guys. In school, bullying is real. It scars children in ways that we cannot see. And poverty, though not their fault, it makes these poor children easy targets. Of course, I understand the mom. I understand her so deeply. But sometimes what really matters, like for instance, this boy did not want something expensive. He only wanted something new. He didn't want luxury. He wanted dignity. And that difference between best and enough, that is where we lose the moment. We stress too much. We overthink too much. And sometimes what we need is to live, to love, and to show up for the people that we love. I too know the pain of later. For years, I kept telling myself that I'll go see my grandfather from my mother's side. I never went visiting him. I think I saw him like 3 years. So I kept telling myself that I could create time, go, spend time with him, hug him, show him how much I care, sit at his feet and soak in his wisdom. I kept telling myself that later I'll get money and go spoil him. That later I'll go create memories with him. I kept convincing myself that there was another day, another chance, another tomorrow. Guess what? One day, the phone rang. The news came. My grandfather was dead. Just like that. Gone was the opportunity for me to ask my grandfather, only him, the questions that only him could answer. Only he could answer. Gone was the opportunity for me to hug him, for me to say goodbye, for me to show him how much I cared for him. Sorry for that. Guys, I stayed with the guilt for a very long time. It haunted me. The thought that I had allowed later to rob me of the opportunity to spend, not just to create memory, not just to spend moments with my grandfather, but to create memories that I will never be able to create because he's dead. The fact that I had allowed later to rob me such an opportunity to take that priceless moment from me, it was prayer. God came through for me. The guilt was killing me, guys. The guilt was killing me. Later is a thief, guys. Later is a thief. But from my grandfather's death, I learned one of the most powerful and urgent lessons. Don't wait for later to show people that you care for them. Don't wait for later to hug the people that you love, to tell them how much you adore them. Don't wait for later to forgive. Don't wait for later to make peace. Don't wait for later to pray. Don't wait for later to show up for the people that you... Don't wait for later to start that business. Don't wait for later to go back to school, because later is a thief. Love is never meant to be postponed for later. Love is meant to be lived presently, this very moment. So what am I trying to say? Don't postpone that hug. Don't hold back those words. Yes? Because you know what? When you wait for later, those words remain unspoken. That love remains unfelt. And later, you will remain with regrets. You will live with regrets for the rest of your life. Later robs us of the opportunity to live fully, to love deeply, and to live with no regrets. So what am I trying to say? Later, the coffee gets cold, right? Later, people lose interest. Later, the day turns tonight, right? Later, children grow up. Later, people grow old. Later, life passes by. Later, you live your life not pursuing the things that set your soul on fire. Some people use later as an excuse. Yes, that is what we do. We use later as an excuse. Later, I'll go back to school. Later, I'll start that business. Later, I'll show up for the people that I love. Later, I will pray. Later, and what happens? Time goes by. Dreams untouched. Purpose unexplored. And spiritually, you are hollow on the inside. Parents say, later, when the kids are grown, we'll travel the world. Later, we'll laugh together. Later, we'll make memories. And in chasing the later, children are no longer children. They have lost interest. They've grown distant. By the time you're chasing later, you forget to enjoy the simple joys, the simple moments with your loved ones. Parents forget to laugh loudly in the moment. And what happens? You wake up one day, children are grown. You're miserable, sad, and lonely. That is what most of us do. We postpone these little joys for later. You say, later, I will laugh. Later, I will smile. Later, I'll pursue that dream. Let me tell you something. Life is supposed to be lived right now. Life is happening right now. And the breaking news is, there's nothing later really never happens. Because by the time you get at later, time is already gone. I was having a chat with a couple friend. They had their children when they were high school sweethearts. So they had their children very young. They're in their 40s, the kids are in university. But now, in that instance of waiting for later to do things, they were not able to create a good relationship with their children. So they do not have a relationship with their children. The mom was complaining that she calls the sons. The sons don't even pick their calls. These sons are in campus. They have girlfriends. They don't have time for their parents. They don't even have a relationship. The mom was complaining, and I was telling her, what you can do is to teach them better. Tell them that they should not make the same mistake, the mistakes that you made. We tell ourselves that tomorrow is guaranteed, but let me tell you something. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. What we have is today, this very moment. There's a quote I love. It's by Jim Rohn, whereby Jim once said that in this life, we must suffer one of two pains. And the first pain is that pain of discipline. That pain that you say that I'll start a business, you go looking for capital and start that business. You say, I'll go back to school, you go back to school and you finish that master's. You say, I'll show up for the people that I love, and then you go show up for the people that you love. That is that pain of discipline. Another pain is that pain of regret, whereby you say that later I'll do something. Later I'll do, like exactly what happened to me and my grandfather. I kept convincing myself that I had time, that time was on my side. Until the phone rang and the news came that my grandfather was no more. So that is the pain of regret. I told you guys how it haunted me. The guilt was killing me. It was actually prayer that came through for me. So in this life, you must choose your pain. Choose that pain of discipline or choose that pain of regret. But you have to make decision at some point. So I want to challenge you, guys, don't leave anything for later. Yes, don't leave anything for later. Dress up today. Pray today. Stop saying that these clothes, we will wear them on Christmas. That, oh my God. Forgive today. Make peace today. Start that business today. Go back to school today. Yes? Pursue the call of God on your life today. Later is a lie. By the time you get at later, time is already too late. So, if you choose to act now, today, if you choose to live now, if you choose to step into your greatness now, then your life will never be the same again. We keep telling ourselves that tomorrow is guaranteed, but here's the breaking news. Tomorrow is never guaranteed. Later really never happens, because by the time we arrive at later, it's already too late. Yes. Later is a thief. Later is a thief, guys. By the time that boy, the mother got to later, the boy was ruined. By the time later came, my grandfather was gone. Later is a thief, guys. So let us choose to act now, to live now. Let us choose to get into our greatness now. That is what I had for today. And I want to thank you so much for giving me a few minutes of your time. I want to thank you so much for your continued support. For the new subscribers, karibu sana. I love you here so much. We love you here. For the returning subscribers, you guys are my family and I adore you so much. And to those who haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please go subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out every time I post a video. And guys, let me know what you want us to talk about. So until next time, have a glorious and an inspiring time. See you.